Yeah, look, the wicket was quite tough early. I think the boys summed up that 180 would be par, given the history here. The ball skids on at night, and it doesn't really stick in the wicket. So the way the boys defended at the back end was excellent. I think from a batting perspective, I think we only scored 21 runs off the last 18 balls, which is disappointing when you've got some batters in. But obviously when you lose a wicket and you have two new batters, to reset on a wicket like that was going to be a challenge. But I think moving forward, looking at the World Cup, there are little areas that we can work on going forward against England in the next 3 games. I think Perth might be identical to that as well, especially with the big square boundary. So in all, it's good to get the series win. Not in height or stature or power. He's got some incredible power. But yeah, look, if he's got the ambitions to play, one-day cricket and Test cricket for Australia, then yeah, that's definitely how he's obviously going to take that pathway, which is fantastic. Obviously with his background and where he was playing and whatnot, he's chose to play the 2020 franchise circuit, which is great for him. It's a starting platform. Not a lot of people get the opportunity to have state contracts as well. So that's upon him now to work out what he wants to do and what his priorities are. But now he's in our team and our setup. It's a godsend. He's an incredible player. He's got some serious power. So it boosts our middle order, and to come out and play like that, and with his height as well and strength, it suits us, that's for sure.
What do you make specifically of his batting talent? So you mentioned power, we haven't seen a lot of it, I guess, over the years. We've seen the nets in the middle. What strikes you?
Yeah, I think just watching him when he played for Hobart, I've watched him a few games where he stood and delivered and he played that finishing role. Everyone's got cricket smarts about them as well, and I think coming into this setup, he's learning that as well. So each individual has their roles. We've obviously got Marcus Stoinis and Glenn Maxwell, who are our finishers. Now, where does he fit in the lineup as well, and what's his role? So I think coming out and playing that role there perfectly when it was a hard wicket to start on really opens our eyes to, okay, now how do we utilise that? But even what he did for Mumbai as well, he came out and got a couple of 30s or 40s off 8, 9 balls. It's incredible, and you don't get these type of players every day. So it's going to be good for us moving forward, and hopefully there's a spot there as well, because the selector's got a headache now, I think.
Some of the youngest played, he played a sort of secondary role with Wadey and Mahali, and then under pressure 6 down in Hyderabad, he gave the team out, and tonight on the wicket he started and summed up the situation really well. Can you talk to his ability to adapt and be a chameleon in that middle like that?
I think when you play franchise cricket, you're playing with a lot of experienced players as well. So that gives you greater knowledge of how to go about your innings. And having those senior players around that have played the game for a long time, you feed off that and you start learning. When you come into this team now as well, we've got some young, fresh players as well. So it's not necessarily you're going to come in and you're going to know what you have to do. So it's great in that sense. He knows what his game plan is, and he can have 2 different gears. So that's a plus. But yeah, look, he's an exciting player, and he's got a bright future ahead of him.
How important is that in the World Cup to have someone that can do that when you play and you know what's required to win one? How important is it to have a player that can do that?
Yeah, it's really important. I think it's the onus on us senior players to craft that in the middle and take the pressure off those guys who come in. We don't have to have them worrying about what we need to do. They just have a clear mind. They do what they have to do, and you saw it there. Like when we lost myself and there was 2 new batters in, got a run out. Maxie got a run out, and then he came out and played like that. That's fearless cricket, and that's what we like about our brand at the moment. We're playing that, and everyone's owning their own space. But when you execute your skill and what you practice, that's what we want. If you err away from that, like if you're playing a reverse lap and you don't play it, they're things that we then question. So everyone's got clarity, and that's the best thing about this team at the moment.
Do you think that 6 is motivating?
That one, we actually thought it was, and then obviously it wasn't as big as, who was it? Binger. I think Binger hit one out there. Linney's probably hit one out there. So yeah, big one.
Just want to ask about Cameron Green opening batting, because he's not in the World Cup squad, of course, but he is opening batting two matches in a row. Is there a plan developing there? Like, is he got up to plan to sneak him into the squad, or if someone's injured, or usually he's not playing the World Cup to open 2 games in a row in the practice match, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I think it's probably more about where does he fit in if everyone is fit as well. So, we've got those guys playing. You've got Maxwell, Stoinis, and Tim, and then Wadey. So you got 4 guys there that finish, and then you got a guy like Greeny who's his size and stature, and he bowls. It's more about what role does he play then when me and Finch end up leaving. So there's these are the perfect games to actually look at that. Obviously he's got great defence against new ball and everything. My only advice to him is just to maybe tone it back a little bit. He's probably swinging too hard, where he can probably just go out there and just bat his normal way, and he'll find that tempo. It's not easy just to go out there and just think you can hit every ball for 6, but he'll learn that. He'll learn his craft, and if he does and he comes off.
Do you find it's a weapon that you guys, when you open the side show, don't just the lengths bowlers have?
Yeah, definitely. I think here in Australia, I think overseas when it's probably a little bit lower and slower, I might turn as well. They're the questions that we can ask as well. So I think moving forward from here, I think there's a World Cup in the Caribbean 2020. So they're going to be probably low and slow. So if he gets that opportunity potentially here, if there's an injury, or I'm not sure how it all works, but if not, it'll probably obviously definitely be part of that West Indies one. So we have to wait and see. It's the second hit I've had in about 30 days. So, look, I've always just taken time away from the game, and I put the tools down, and you don't lose the skill overnight. It's about refreshing and knowing what I've got ahead. Look, obviously World Cup's priority, but to come out here and play like that is always great. I've probably ridden off a little bit in Dubai with those low, slow wickets. But for us as a team, it's important that we're getting good hit out in the middle and solid practice. So it's fantastic.
How big would it be for you to defend the World Cup? How has it done before on home soil? Was that, I know you've seen it all and done it all in the game, but where would that sit?
Yeah, it'll be massive. There's guys that have played in that 2015 World Cup and players that were on the bench. So for us, it's not worrying about the hype and the external stuff. It's about just producing our skill day in, day out, and make sure that we're executing that to the best of our ability, and don't leave any energy in the tank. Give it our best shot. We're obviously here on home soil. We want to entertain, and we want to take it deep. So we have to start well, obviously against New Zealand, and fingers crossed it doesn't get washed out, because then it can make it hard. So hopefully the sun comes out.
Can I ask about overrates? Take advantage of it tonight with 4 men out in the last 2 overs, but it's going to play a part of the World Cup. How important is it for the teams to A, get through their opening goal, and B, take advantage if the opposition doesn't?
Yeah, it is important. I think, like even tonight, I don't know how we were outside, because it said that we were square. So, there's a few conversations going on in the background with the captain and obviously the umpire. So they're going to have to work out, like you see there's 4 minutes and all of a sudden there's 5 minutes. So it's hard to get the gauge of when the umpires are stopping and starting. But look, it's a hard one, like to get through, each delivery, and, there's got to be some thinking at the top end. It is difficult, but at the end of the day, that's what it's there for. It's there to make sure the game stays on time, because some of these games go 4.5 hours when they shouldn't be. So I think it's a great thing that they've brought in.